going on, guys? Rambling episode 2. Might try to think of a better name for this series. But kind of a play on words, because I'm rambling verbally, and I'm also rambling on the trail, right? Pretty clever. So, I had a different plan for today. I was going to do what was probably the hardest hike I've ever planned. It was going to be 3 peaks, maybe 12 miles, about 4,500 feet of gain. That did not work out because I went to a Halloween party last night and woke up this morning at 10:45. So it's a little too late in the day to start a hike that long. So today I'm coming back to a trail that has defeated me in the past. The reason it has defeated me before is because I did this one in May, I think, and it was getting really hot, and then I saw a rattlesnake maybe 6 inches from my right ankle, and I decided that was a good enough reason to call it for the day and head home. So I'm back now, mid-October, and I'm gonna hit the summit. So this particular approach is about 8 miles out and back, maybe 2,500 feet of gain or so. So I can confidently say that's about medium difficulty for me now, which is cool. Nice to see improvement after doing this for multiple years. And while the trail in its entirety may be medium difficulty, I always have trouble adjusting to elevation initially. So that's why I'm huffing and puffing. I'll probably be acclimated in another half mile or so and be good to go. So, as I said, I'm starting pretty late in the day. I think I got to the trailhead around 1. I have not seen anyone else going up. I've seen lots of people coming down. They're probably already done. So, a bit foolish on my part, but I had already mentally committed to hiking this weekend, so didn't want to waste the day. Alright, so let's talk about some metal. Friday was a pretty big release day. 3 bands in particular released albums that I'm really, really enjoying right now. Probably the most notable one for me is Slidhr, I don't know, with the album White Heart, ! Slidhr is a very interesting case. It's an Irish project, but the drummer is actually an Icelandic guy who's in, oh man, I'm blanking now. I think he was in Sin Mara. I don't know. It's Bjarni Einarsson. That's the drummer's name. Anyway, this is an international project, and though it's an Irish band, and though Ireland, wow, holy shit. One sec. Beautiful like copse of red trees right here. Man. Get my ugly mug out of there. Yeah, this is what it's all about right here. Get the fuck away from human beings for a little while. So, though this is an Irish band, and though Ireland is not renowned for its black metal scene, this band has a generally pretty Icelandic sound. And it's not as if he's just copying the scene that really took off in Iceland in the late 2000s. He was actually kind of sort of involved in that scene. Him and another guy, Stephen Lockhart, who I think is a producer and also runs the Ascension Festival in Iceland, which is a fest I would love to go to one year. Always a great lineup. I've been to Iceland once. I went in 2016. Would love to go back, and I would love to go back specifically for that fest sometime. So we'll see if that ever pans out. But the Ireland-Iceland black metal connection is stronger than you would think. Geographically, they're actually, fairly close to one another in the grand scheme of things. And I think it makes sense that they would exchange, ideas and production techniques, things like that, sort of converge on a, similar style of black metal. So this is a long way of saying that this is a Icelandic style black metal record, kind of. I think, it's also pretty influenced by death metal, but it is not black and death metal, it's not war metal, it's just got kind of a very heavy, present, thick production. So anyway, I love this record, I love this band, I was really excited for this album to come out. I've listened to it 3 times since Thursday night, and it has not disappointed. It's incredibly good. Definitely recommend this one. It's just very hateful, it's without getting into the sort of sketchy side of things. It's just very genuinely pissed off. So the guy behind the project, generally, I think the guy who writes everything, and then he has a couple musicians who record. So Joseph Deegan is the guy's name. He's a tattoo artist in Dublin, I think, and he's also a vegan, which is cool. If you don't know, I am vegan. I am upholding the stereotype of vegans who talk about being vegan right now, but it is cool to see veganism in extreme metal context, and especially cool because I think while veganism has sort of a, hippie connotation, there's a style, brand version of veganism. It's very, very misanthropic. And that seems to be what Joseph Deegan is doing with Slidhr here. Not to say this is a vegan black metal band, but I'm sure it's not at all, but very misanthropic, and just feels very genuine. Feels like somebody who does not like humanity. So if you're ever in the mood for that sort of thing, highly recommend this record. You will be hearing me talk about it later on in the year. So let's move on. Let's see, next record I want to talk about is the new Mānbryne. Probably not saying that right. Polish is a weak point of mine. And I think the album's called Interregnum, with some other Polish stuff after it, but I'm not even going to try to remember. So, Mānbryne is sort of an orthodox black metal band. Yeah, not a hell of a lot to say about this one, other than the fact that it is highly melodic, highly catchy. It's 6 tracks, 45 minutes. Pretty straightforward. Just has a sort of, like I said, orthodox black metal feel. Very, maybe not satanic, but definitely just that occult vibe, which is great. All right, and finally, the band Taubra from Switzerland. Taubra, don't quote me on this, but I believe it is the drummer and guitarist of the band Aura, who I am a massive, massive fan of, and some other Swiss musicians. But this is even more orthodox, I would say, than Mānbryne. Orthodox in the sense of genre stylings. So I saw someone say, this sounds like De Mysterious Dom Satanas. I'm not sure I quite agree with that, but I see what they're getting at. It's definitely bread and butter, 90s black metal. Very evil song titles like Congregation of the Unholy or something like that, and then Rembrandt of Death, which is, I don't know, I love it. It's pretty silly, actually. You know, I think the lyrics say something. I've only listened to this one once. I think the lyrics say something about like painting with blood and flesh or something. I don't know. Cool, if not a little silly. But great riffs. Some really, really catchy moments on that one. It's got some kind of like, you know, angular arpeggiated stuff, which I guess is in line with what Mayhem went on to do. But overall, I would just say this is like melodic, evil black metal. Really good though. Once again, great production. I just finished up work on a solo project. I have a couple. This one's called Lux Luna, but it's like atmospheric black metal. And you know, every time I release a record, I'm slightly more pleased with the production value, but you know, I'm still miles away from where I want to be. And I don't know, it's cool to hear bands like this who not only write amazing riffs, but you know, have a production value that's worth aspiring to, because I firmly believe in the DIY ethic. I would rather do stuff completely myself, and if it's lackluster, I know it's because my skills weren't where they need to be. I think it's, I mean, there's nothing wrong with having your stuff professionally mixed and mastered. Obviously, I say there's nothing wrong. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I'd say it's preferable. You know, I would agree that it's probably the way to go. But I don't know. I write and record a lot of music, and it gets expensive. So it's nice to just have a little freedom to do it myself, and you know, whatever the outcome, I'll have released a record that I'm proud of and learned something along the way. Final mile here, couple switchbacks, and then I am there. So, last time I was here, I talked about my thoughts on whether or not black metal is ideological. And unsurprisingly, that video got a lot of comments, which I appreciated, because that's exactly why I did it. I wanted to get feedback from people, see what other people thought. And I did get a lot of pushback, because if you haven't seen that video, I argued that black metal today, in 2023, and probably for the past 20 years or so, is not specifically ideological. It's not specifically satanic or anti-Christian. I kind of argued it's just a style of music, and I still think that's correct. But I have sort of softened my position, I guess. I spoke to a lot of people, heard a lot of feedback in the vein of, it doesn't have to be specifically satanic, but it does have to be fill in the blank, you know, this adjective. And I think I see the argument there. Getting to the tree line here. So I think a good adjective to use would be black metal is adversarial. Rebellious, maybe? That word kind of has a maybe a negative connotation, but I think adversarial is a good descriptor. And I think the reason this applies is because it encapsulates many, many different styles of black metal, including satanic black metal, which is a response to the highly Christian, and chill here for a second, the highly Christian Scandinavian countries in the 90s. It encapsulates NSBM, which I don't really need to explain why that's adversarial. But it also encapsulates Christian black metal and red and anarchist black metal, because these are adversarial strains of music in response to those first two styles that I mentioned. They are rebelling against the perceived ubiquity of Satanism and fascism and, I don't know, these sort of, I guess, generally more misanthropic ideologies. So I still don't think black metal has one specific ideology. I don't think black metal is satanic. That's what you hear most often, I think. Black metal has to be satanic metal. I don't think that's the case. I'm not convinced on that. And I did have some people saying, no, it has to be satanic or it's not black metal. But I don't agree. I think black metal is a genre of music that borrows from, black metal musical conventions, but is also adversarial in some way. Even something like DSBM. What you have there is, an antagonistic or hostile view on life, on existence. And while it's sort of introspective and maybe not the most aggressive style of music, I think it still fits in this black metal as ideology framework because it has an adversarial relationship with human existence. So, yeah, I think that's my position at this time. Black metal just has, it's in opposition to something, I think. And, yeah, curious what people think if you're watching this video and you care to engage. Let me know. I'm very, very curious. See, it's fun. It's fun to put my opinion out there, have it challenged, and then end up changing my mind. That's an enjoyable process for me. So, one last thing I'll mention before I stop rambling on this one is I think you have bands that are quote-unquote post-black metal, and one definition of post-black metal is it's black metal that incorporates elements from other genres such as post-metal, post-rock, shoegaze, stuff like that. But another way to look at it is it's black metal that isn't necessarily adversarial. It's not necessarily in opposition to something. These are typically very introspective, emotional types of bands, if not just straight up instrumental bands. So while they play something that is like loosely identifiable as black metal, they are also not, if you want to argue that black metal has an ideology, they are not adhering to said ideology. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Probably not going to film again until I get to the summit up here, or not going to talk again until I get to the summit because it's getting hard. So see you at the top. Alright, I'm at the summit. I forgot this was up here. I'm not 100% sure what it is. My guess is it is either a very old ski hut or a fire lookout. So like they probably had rangers stationed down at the trailhead, and they'd probably take shifts up here doing fire lookouts or something like that. That's probably what it is. I don't think that's a ski hut, even a very old one, but pretty cool to see. A little creepy, but yeah, that's the summit right up there. So last few feet here, let's see. Overall, great hike. Really enjoyed it. This is nice. I don't want to say it's rare. You can see over here, you start to get into the Central Valley a little bit, which is a very flat, dry part of California, especially dry part of California. But, you know, in general, it takes a little bit of effort to get into a wilderness area like this, where you're kind of just surrounded by mostly undeveloped land. Nice little escape from the hustle and bustle of the city. This is cool. I think that's Mount Baldy over there, peeking over there. So the last episode I did, I was hiking right on the other side of that peak over there, and now I'm over here. So it's beautiful. I'm going to sit down, drink some water, take 5 or 10 minutes to celebrate being up here, and then go home so I can drink Mountain Dew and get ready to watch the 49ers beat the Browns tomorrow. Just get another quick peek in here inside the Blair Witch cabin. Pretty cool, honestly. Also occurred to me, could very well just be a shelter for hikers. I mean, it's not much of a shelter anymore, but could have been a shelter just in case. You know, Southern California has pretty fair, mild weather, but it can be pretty changeable at higher elevations. So yeah, maybe that's what this is. I don't know. It's cool though. Kind of spooky. All right, I'm getting out of here. I don't know if you guys see that helicopter down there. I was just filming this lake, but I don't know if they're looking for a hiker or just doing a training drill or what, but not the most relaxing sound in the world. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here so I can hustle on back to my car. Enjoying this, maybe not well-deserved, but this descent nevertheless, because this is basically one of those trails that's directly up and then directly down. So nothing difficult on the way back, just a leisurely 4 miles back to the car. Appreciate everybody who watched. Okay, let's try that again. I appreciate everyone watching. Leave a comment, especially vis-a-vis the ideological black metal thing. Really curious for extra thoughts on that. Otherwise, like, subscribe if you want to see more, and I appreciate it. Have a good one.